Whoever came up with the idea of putting modern day rock music, and when I say modern day, I mean mostly Queen, to a medieval movie about jousting, you rock!
We will rock you!
Hey now, what's up everybody? My name is Mike Brown, aka ReviewKingMB, and I am here continuing my Heath Ledger tribute reviews with A Knight's Tale. A Knight's Tale is a film that came out in 2001, and the plot is it takes place in medieval times where we meet Heath Ledger as William. William is a peasant-born kid who just has aspirations. He wants to be more. He wants so much more in life. He wants to be a knight. He wants to be a knight. He wants to prove himself, prove that he's good at this intense sport called jousting. And when one knight gets killed during a match, which is quite brutal, but he gets the courage to take this guy's armor, pretend to be of royal ancestry, and him along with his friends enter a tournament to try to win as many games as it can, win as much money as it can, but also win the affections of a Miss Jocelyn. Now, what I think of A Knight's Tale is this movie is so much fun. It is. I'll be honest. It's one of those movies that on paper shouldn't work. On paper, it should be a terrible movie. It should be like you take a medieval times movie, which for me is already on the fence. I'm not somebody who loves medieval times or loves movies about that. You know, even if there are a lot of good ones out there, it's that if you tell me that it's in medieval times, I instantly fall asleep and I go, oh great, yeah, I'll get to it when I get to it. But I like the tone that this movie takes. It is a more fun tone. At the very beginning of the movie, you see that they're playing contemporary music that I like, that I enjoy listening to, like We Will Rock You, or We Are the Champions. Lowrider? Yes, they play Lowrider in this movie. And I know at the time, a lot of people had issues with that. People were like, how could they play music like this in a medieval times movie? It doesn't make any sense. But I love Roger Ebert's response to this by saying, well, technically, even if they put orchestra music to this, you should have issues with that because that wasn't invented in medieval times either. Now, Heath Ledger, I really enjoy, especially in movies where he gets to show off his personality, show off his charisma. I like his loose attitude. I like that you see how much he wants this and his aspirations, and especially once you start getting some flashbacks of him as a kid and him with his father and him just wanting to do this. It puts a little extra weight onto this character and to see how far he comes along. Sure, he's lying. And sure, when they meet Paul Bettany, who plays Jeffrey, and he comes up with this huge, insane, elongated backstory about all of these things that he's done and how he's this royalty, and it's absurd. But the fact that he goes by the name, for royalty's sake, of Ulrich von Liechtenstein, it's so crazy that you kind of have to believe it. His friends are played by Mark Addy, who plays Roland, Alan Tudyk, who was probably the most comical out of all of them, but Paul Bettany also has moments. I also enjoyed the character Kate, played by Laura Fraser, because they initially got her to make his armor because, well, she's a woman and nobody else in the village thinks that a woman can make armor. So she wanted to prove herself, and she had some spunk, and she fit right in with this group of all dudes who, yeah, they're goofy and make weird jokes. Yes, this is a movie about jousting, and I'm not going to pretend like I'm some lifelong fan of jousting or like I even really quite understand the point of the sport, but I guess at one time, so many years ago, it was a big deal. There's a lot of montages, a lot of jousting matches, and you do feel like you see people hitting each other with sticks on horses over and over again. Sure, there's a lot of jousting. And the film is over 2 hours long, which surprisingly is a long length for a movie about this, but I feel like it's the characters that keep me going. It's Heath Ledger, it's the fun, it's the music, it's really everything that goes along with it. Even when Heath Ledger meets Jocelyn, the actress is Shannon Sossamon, who I feel like I've seen her in a couple of horror movies, so I forget that she's in the film, but seeing them and him fall for her, at first you think, okay, it's your typical love story, your typical, like, the guy meets this pretty girl and he's really only in love with her because she's attractive, right? And he's a peasant and she's royalty, so you're going to have that natural, they can't be together. So that's at first. But once they do start to date, once he does finally win her over, there's a scene where obviously people find out about his real background, and his friends basically say, look, you have to run, you have to leave. And the constant back and forth, the constant pushback that Heath Ledger gives on his pride and him wanting to be a knight and how much this means to him, but Jocelyn like almost begging him in tears to leave for love, and that she'll leave with him, she'll give up her riches, and that back and forth with them, her just pleading with him to leave and he not wanting to do it, like, that scene sells me on their love story. That scene made me root for these two to end up together. And also, you have to have your typical villain, who's played by Rufus Sewell, who I feel like that actor just has that punchable douchebaggery face. So perfect as a villain here. So guys, obviously I enjoy A Knight's Tale. I remember seeing it when I was a kid, enjoying it then, rewatching it now. It's still a lot of fun. Let me know in the comments below, what do you think of it? Are you offended that a medieval film has some cool music? Or are you like, no, this has to be traditional. It's this movie's blasphemy. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Later!
Yeah, it's in the butane. It's in the butane. Yo, okay. Yo, it's butane. I'll never give up. In God we trust. And it's a must that I won't